right, you guys, this is episode 30 of War Stories. So check it out. I'm going to get straight into this, but before I do, let me just say this real quick. So I know a lot of you have been waiting on Inner Demons, episode 35. I just cut it. Hopefully, it'll get released tonight. However, like I've said before, I'm my own biggest critic. I criticize my own work more than probably you guys do. A lot of times, I'll think that a video is garbage and you guys will give me praise. Maybe it's just maybe you guys are just trying to be positive. I don't know. But a lot of the times I'll listen to some of my videos and I'll be like, man, there's no way I'm going to release this. This shit's just garbage, man. But I released 35. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to take you guys back. This one right here is a situation that happened in Salinas. And, you know, there's a few parts of it, but I'm going to back up so that I have a little bit more to talk about in this story, because the main thing happened when I was going to the county jail. That's one of the main things that I want to tell you guys about. However, just to let you guys know a little bit about what was going on at that time, I'm going to take you back to what was going on right before this. So this was obviously the time when I was out there in Salinas, and I was the regimental commander out there. Now, there was two different times that I was out there in Salinas that I functioned as a regimental commander. One time I came out there while Smokey was out, and I want to say that was the second time, because when I first came out, Smokey was gone. Yeah, that most definitely. So look, so I'm up in Pelican Bay. I'm thinking that I'm going to parole back to Mendocino County. They're shuffling me around. Counties are kicking me out of their county because they don't want me coming out there recruiting. Mendocino was one of them. I just came off a 3 strikes case out there. I beat it on a motion on a 995. That was the case where I got caught up with the white guy. We were selling dope. The white guy told on me, and, you know, I thought I was going to get struck out. I was in a bad situation, out of bounds, and basically it was like they were going to parade me into the courtroom and show the jury that here's this big gang leader that is intimidating his co-defendant into taking the case, and then they were going to flip it on me and wash me up. I got lucky. I'm going to tell you guys like that. But anyway, that was Mendocino's last time fucking with me. After I caught that case, parole didn't want me back over there. So they got at the parole regional commander and had them shoot me out to Salinas. So I'm still up in the Bay. At that time, I'm in C6. Mateo was there, Mateo from Salinas. And I remember getting at him. You know, I had been communicating with him like once every couple of days over there. We were in different pods, but where we were at, the gunner over there was hella cool. So whenever I had a kite going to him or something that was going to him, I used to send my line over. He let us out. He popped my door, popped his door, and he let us communicate. Now, I had no idea that parole was going to flip the script on me like that. I didn't know that they were going to shoot me out to Salinas. So they called me out to do my parole paperwork, and that's when they drop a bomb on me again. Guess what? You're not going back to Mendocino County. We're sending you out to Salinas. So I'm like, fucking Salinas. At that time, I honestly thought that the whole reason why they were sending me out to Salinas is just to get me caught up. The feds were all over Salinas at that time. Not Operation Valley Star. Well, Operation Valley Star was on the tail end of Operation Valley Star, I believe, if I got my time frame right. There was so much shit happening over the years that I can't remember if it was on the tail end, if that hadn't happened yet, or if it was about to happen. But what was going on out there is the Cap Saloon, that whole incident that happened over there with Raymond Sanchez. The feds were all over Salinas. They were still sniffing around, doing an investigation. And I was thinking that, like, okay, this isn't by accident. Out of all counties that they could send me to, they're sending me out to Monterey County. This got set up all over it. So, you know, what could I do? I got at Mateo. I told him, look, bro, my parole plans just got changed. They're sending me out to Monterey County. He's like, Monterey County? Salinas? Are you fucking kidding? That's what they did. So anyway, I go out there, and, well, prior to me leaving, Mateo, he ends up sending me all kind of information. You know, he literally sends me a diagram. This is where Smokey lives. He lives on the corner of Sanborn and Market. Here's my sister Sophie's. Here's her information. She's out there right now. She just got caught up in the Cap Saloon case, but she's out on bail. Oh, okay, great. You know what I mean? But these were contacts. I had no contacts. I knew a lot of homies from Salinas, Wino. I knew Bubba. I knew Baki, but a lot of those guys weren't out there. And even if they were, I didn't know where they were at. I didn't have their hookups at that time. And again, this came out of nowhere. I wasn't prepared for this. So I basically left with the information that Mateo gave me, which ended up being helpful. So, I ended up getting out. I got out. I looked at the diagram that he sent me. I found Smokey's house on Sanborn and Market. I literally walked over there from where I was at. They put me in a hotel out there, and that's what parole does. Whenever they send you to another county where you don't have no resources or nobody out there, they put you up somewhere and give you so much time to get on your feet, and then you're on your own. So, I went to the corner house that he directed me to from his little fucking diagram, his little map that he sent me. And right away, I knew I was at the right house, because as I came up the stairs, I remember seeing on the walkway, on the stairs, somebody had written Rodriguez residence in with their finger, like when the cement was still wet. So right when I seen that, I was like, okay, cool, I'm at the right fucking spot. So I knocked on the door. I asked for Smokey. I believe it was his daughter that answered, and she gave me the bad news. Oh, he's back in custody. He's oh, for real, he's locked up. Fuck, how long he's gonna be gone? And she was like, I don't know. My mom's coming back. She'll be back in probably like an hour. If you want, maybe you can ask her. So I got her number. This way I could call his wife, Lisa, and find out what the deal was with him. So anyway, that ended up being a big disappointment. But, the fact that I had Sophie's address was something that ended up being helpful. Now, I'm not going to get too much into this because, but I ended up going to Sophie's pad. I met her. Well, let me back up. Let me tell you guys how it happened. It just didn't happen like that, because obviously she was in a bad place at that time. The Cap Saloon incident had just happened. She got caught up in that. She was a defendant in that case. And there was just a lot of shit going on around at that time. I didn't even know it at the time, but her and her sister's name came out in the newspaper, and they were identified as being targets, NF targets, that apparently they raided. From what the newspaper article said, is that they raided some of the county jail cells, one belonging to Rico, and they found a handwritten hit list with Lisa and Sophie's name on it. Lisa is Baki's wife, and Sophie, they're both Mateo's sisters. So, they were hot. There was a lot of shit going on. So when I called, I also had a map to his mom's pad. So I found my way over there to his mom's pad, and I get over there and I ask for Sophie. She's not living there. I didn't know that. Her mom, Maria, was there, and I asked how to get a hold of her. I left my number to the hotel I was at. Later on that night, she called me. Leery as fuck. Doesn't know who I am. I'm not from the area. I'm from San Francisco. There was a lot of shit going on in Salinas at that time. Mike Yu just got killed. Rico and Lobo were running around fucking just like, they were running around doing a lot of crazy shit that discouraged a lot of people out there in Salinas. So, anybody that was NF associated, anybody that was NF affiliated, people were leery. So I walked right into that shit. I called Sophie, or that night she called me. After her mom passed her number on, and she was like, hey, my mom told me you came by earlier, like, where do I know you from? Or like, how did you get a hold of my information? And I told her, hey, I was up there with your brother, I was up there with your bro, Matt, and I've been knowing her for a long time, and I just found out that I was paroling out here in Monterey County. I don't know anybody. I don't have any resources. The homie told me, you know what? Hey, my sister's out there. There's another homie named Bobby that's out there. You know, these guys can put you in touch with, you know, some of the fellas that might be out there working on in the regiment. So, you know, that's why I reached out to you. And she was like, okay. She was like, she was still leery. You know, she thought that there were people out to try to kill her, that there were, you know, that the article came out and it obviously had her and her sister both shook up. So, you know, it was awkward. The encounter, the first time I met her, I was like, hey, I'm like, me and your brother are tight. You ain't got to trip on me like that. You know, I don't know what's going on out here. I'm going to find out. I know, but, you know, I come with, you know, you're in good hands with me. I don't got no agenda or nothing like that. So don't trip. Cause I could tell she was skittish as fuck, man. And it didn't help that, you know, right when I get in her truck with her and she was like, yeah. So she starts telling me how the feds raided her pad and they raided everybody else's pads. They hemmed a bunch of people up and her truck, like the radio was all torn out and there were wires sticking out everywhere. She was like, look, they fucking even came in this truck and tore the radio out. They put a fucking listening device in the truck. And I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? This is like right where I want to be in Salinas with all this shit going on. So I'm sitting in the truck that actually had a listening device that the feds put in to get her caught up. So I'm like, wow, okay, what else is going on out here? You know what I mean? So anyway, you know what I forgot to tell you guys though is this. Before she called me that night, I'm out there walking around in Salinas like a sore thumb. I'm sticking out like a motherfucker. I don't know anybody out there. I don't have anybody's hookup. They put me in a hotel and right off of Main Street. They put me in a hotel right there off of Main, right there by the Rodeo. And I think that it was called the Rodeo Hotel that I was at, as a matter of fact. So you got the place down there. I don't know if it's the fairgrounds or what it's called, but it's where they have all the rodeos at. And then there's a hotel with like a 7-Eleven or something right there. That's where I was at. So anyway, I remember being out there. I got Nuestra Familia blasted across the back of my head. I remember I was on a payphone right there. I was talking to somebody in the city, and a carload of youngsters pull up, and they seen me before I seen them. I had my back to them. They see the back of my head. They walk up, hey, what's up, homie? You know, hey, you're not from around here, huh? I guess you could just tell, man, I wasn't from Salinas. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm from the city. Woo, woo, woo. You know, I'm out here on parole. I just paroled. And they're like, well, you know, who you trying to get in touch with? And I told a couple of them, and I threw a couple names out there. And then the homie was like, hey, you know, I know there's a homie that works over here at Walmart that he might be able to put you in touch with some of the people that you're looking for. I'm like, yeah. So he's like, we'll drive you over there real quick if you want us, you know, to link you up. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that'd be cool because I need to get in touch with the homie. So anyway, you drive over there. There's a homie that comes out. He's got a Walmart uniform on. He's like, who are you trying to get a hold of? I'm like, Wino, bro. He's like, oh, I know how to get a hold of him. He's like, I call him right now. Calls him up. Wino, apparently when he called him, he wasn't there at that time. And, you know, his lady picked up and he put me on the phone with his lady. I didn't even know her. I'm like, hey, you know, let him know Boxer from Frisco's out here. I need to get at him. They paroled me out here. I'm fucking lost. I don't know my way around. I need some help. So, you know, these little youngsters, they decide, like, they're like, hey, what are you doing, bro? You know, you want to go chill? Want to go drink some beer or something? I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So it was almost reminiscent of what happened in Mendocino County, except I didn't stab nobody this time. I went to a house and I got drunk as a motherfucker. I'm slamming 40s all night, man. And Wino finally calls me up and he's like, bro, what are you doing? Where you at? And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm over here with some homies, man, some youngsters, bro. He's like, oh, hell no, nah, bro. He's like, give me the address, man. So I give him the address. Him and his lady mob out there, they pick me up. And he's like, damn, fool, what's up, bro? He's like, they paroled you out here. So anyway, we end up hooking up. And so I link up with Wino. And, the next day, he introduced me to all the homies out there, Animal, Corn Nut, what's his name? Fuck, I want to say Kukabunga or some shit. Homeboy got a weird ass name, but anyway, he introduced me to all the homies out there. And we we're smashing around out there, and Wino at that time was the acting RC, and he was like, "Hey, brother," he was like, you got a lot more experience than me. You got a lot more status than me. He's like, I'm gonna just go ahead and turn everything over to you. And I was like, not necessary, bro. I'm out here by fluke. It was like I don't even know if I'm gonna stay out here. I don't got no resources out here. I'm on parole. This is your guys' area. You know what I'm saying? It's like it don't got to be that way, bro. I'm not coming out here trying to pull no status or nothing like that. And he's like, nah, bro. He's like, I insist, homie. He's like, he's like, I'm eager to learn from you, man. So he's like, bro, please, I insist that you take the keys. You know what I mean? So I took the RC position, and from that point, I was the regimental commander for the remainder of the time that I was out there, until later on, Smokey would end up coming out after I paroled the second time. And that's when I told you guys, he almost did the same thing. He was like, bro, you've been around. He was like, you got more status. Go ahead and take it. And I'm like, nah, bro. He's like, I'll work as an advisor, or we can do this, together. We can run it together and do it like that, dual capacity, bro. So that's what we did. Anyway, so I was going to tell you guys. So anyway, the next day, after I'm smashing around with Wino and a lot of little homies, a lot of little homies are walking up to me, just giving me, hey, homie, here's a couple $100, bro. I know you just got out. This is to help get you on your feet. They blessed me, man. They showed a lot of carnalismo and a lot of love, man. They all hooked me up. And another homie was like, hey, brother, he was like, tomorrow, if you're not doing nothing, we can go. I'll buy you some clothes. I believe that was Gabe Caracheo, another good ass homie. And so I eventually, they ended up, well, it was funny. So then that's when I ended up hooking up with Sophie. And, I went to her pad, and the rest is history. I ended up pretty much staying there for the most part. And, I ended up getting blindsided with that one because, at that time, Sophie, I guess, what she didn't tell me is that she was with Stalker before I met her. And, for those of you that got anything to say, Mateo don't care. His sisters are grown women, and they can do what they want to do. And it wasn't a situation, it was like, hey, B, don't go over there and holler at my sister. It wasn't nothing like that. And, he knows his sisters are big girls, and they do their thizzle. They do they do their thing, man. So I go over there, I meet her, we kick it, and a couple days later, Bubba comes over, and he's like, B, he's like, check it out, bro. He pulls me outside, and he's like, hey, homie, he's like, look, bro, I love you, boy. You're my boy. You're my ninja. You know what I'm saying? But look, hey, did she tell you she's with Stalker? And I'm like, nah, bro. Hell nah. Stalker was another NF member that got caught up in that Raymond Sanchez, that whole case. And I'm like, bro, she ain't told me nothing about that. I was kind of upset. And he's like, homeboy is fucking madly in love with her, bro. So it's going to be an issue, B. He's like, bro, if I was you, I just back up, bro. Let her, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I've known her all my life since she was a little girl. I know how she is. She loves the homies. But you know how it goes, bro. Homeboy's gonna cry about it, man. And I'm like, hey, nah, bro. I understand. I'm not trying to get caught up in nothing like that, bro. But she didn't tell me nothing about that. So, I go back in, I confront her, and she's like, man, fuck that motherfucker. I ain't with him. And oh, fucking pussy, you know what I mean? He's in love, and it's a one-sided thing, and I'm not committed to that fucking dude. He ain't put no ring on my finger, so I don't know what the fuck he's telling Bubba, but hell no, it's not even like this. So anyway, it was kind of funny for a minute. I guess she told Stalker that hey, she was moving on, and he wasn't tripping, but I wasn't trying to hook up with her like that anyway. It was just I got out, and it was what it was, man. Anyway, the whole point in me telling you guys this is so I would end up one day, Gabe got a chill, another homie that I just mentioned. He calls us over to his pad. He's like, hey, he's like, you guys can, bring the homie by. He tells so bring him by, and we'll fucking we'll throw some meat on the grill, and we'll chill. You know what I'm saying? And so I go over there, and I go over there, and I end up running into Chino from Mountain View. Chino's over there. Is another homie. And I believe I don't remember. I believe he was with Flacco. For all you guys all know Flacco, convict's perspective. He was running around with Flacco. So anyway, I go over there, and the back of my head, I got new whistle for me on the back of my head. However, it wasn't filled in. So, I already got hit for that tattoo one time for having it, because it was like, this gang related, you're fucking you're involved in gang related activity again, woo woo woo. So anyway, give a fuck. I did a violation for it, and it was there. So anyway, we're at Gabe's pad, and I have Chino. He brings his gun because he was like, I'm gonna call Chino from Mountain View to come out here. I'm like, bro, tell him to bring his fucking gun, his tattoo gun. I want him to fucking cut, shade in these letters. So he comes over, he throws a bridge on my throat. Shit's all covered up now. We got all lasered off. Throws a bridge and some bitches and shit. Couple homeboys and shit on my throat, and then I have him do the back of my head. So we end up smashing back to her pad that night, and I remember prior to that, when I was still at the hotel. At that time I was drinking a lot. Alcohol helped me transition back out. Every time getting out of the shoe, I always felt like I was full of anxiety, and alcohol helped me. So, when I was in the hotel, I had probably drunk like fucking over the course of 3-4 days, like 5-6 40s of still reserve. And I remember, I had been at her pad for like the last 3 days since I first went over there. And then one night I told her, hey, drive me by my hotel room real quick so I could pick something up. I had my parole box over there with some, bunch of paperwork and other shit that I wanted to get, right? So when we get over there, we go into my room, and I can tell as soon as you walk in, somebody's been in there. So I had thrown, I used to keep my room clean, and I had thrown all the 40-ounce bottles in the fucking garbage. But all the bottles were lined up on my dresser, like 8 of them, two, all lined up. And I'm like, what the fuck? There ain't no fucking maid service in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? For those of you that know about the Rodeo Hotel, it's one of them funky hotels. So I'm tripping now. And then I walk over by the bed, and I look, and right there on the bed by the pillow, there's a card, and it was from my parole officer. And for those of you that have been around that are from Salinas, you guys should all know who Bordoff was. He was a legendary parole officer that used to give the fucking homies the blues out there. If you were an NF member and you were on high control parole, you had either Bordoff or Tim Work. There were 2 parole officers that were like, all the homies had those cats. Their caseloads were all hermanos or NF members that were, that were still active in the game. So he writes on the back of the card, be in my office at 8 Monday morning. That's all he writes. And I'm like, oh fuck, this dude's tripping, right? But like I don't got no 5B. I can drink, and there's nothing that says I can't fucking I can't move around in Salinas if I meet somebody. So Monday morning comes, I tell her to drive me down to the parole office, but pull over like a couple blocks away and let me walk, right? I didn't want them, I know that they knew who her brother was, and technically they really shouldn't be able to do nothing just because she's related to him, but still, I didn't want them knowing that I was making those kind of connections. So I go in the parole office and check this out. I go in, I sign in, and Bordoff comes out. He looks and he's like, "Hold on, I'll be right back." So, I'm sitting out there in the lobby, and he opens up the door. And he's like, "Come on, let's go." So I walk by him, and he's behind me, and he's like, "Let's go to my office. You know where my office is at?" Because when I first got out there, he walked me to the parole office, walked me back to his office, took my pictures and all that shit. So when we're walking down the hallway, I turn my head just enough to where I could see him behind me, my peripheral, and I see him with his hand up going like this. And there's another parole officer at the end of the hall. Like he's pointing to him like, this is him right here. So I'm like, fuck, this motherfucker's tripping. So when we get to the office, as soon as I get there, these other parole officers swoop up on the door. They all come up, and he's like, "Hey, so where you been, man? Where you been these last couple days? You been out in San Francisco?" And I've been like, "Nah, man, hell nah. What are you talking about?" He's like, "We've been by your fucking room 3 times, and you've never been there. And we asked the people at the front desk if they've seen you. Nobody's seen you. So where you been?" I was like, "Look, man, I met somebody, and I was at her pad for the last couple of days. What's wrong with that?" And I don't know why you lined up all those bottles in my room, but I ain't got no 5B. What, I can't drink now? You know what I'm saying? He's like, "No, that's not the thing. The thing is you're going to San Francisco. I know you were in San Francisco." I'm like, "Nah, man. Ain't nobody was in San Francisco. I don't even got no transportation out there. I can't get out there. I've been in Salinas the whole fucking time. So I don't know what you're talking about, man." And they were going to violate me right there. These motherfuckers were going to cuff me up and take me back to the county jail right there. And he was like, I had to convince this motherfucker that I had not left Salinas. Man, I've been here the whole fucking time. "Well, where's this girl? Where she live at?" "I don't know, man. I met her, and I know she lives somewhere I don't know my way around here. I barely know the name of the street that this fucking office is on, man. You know what I mean?" So anyway, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. If I find out you're leaving this county, and you're going anywhere near San Francisco, I'm gonna take you right back, man. And I'm gonna make sure you do a flat year." And all right, Bordoff, okay, it's all good. I got you, man. You know what I'm saying? But there's nothing that says I can't fucking move around out here when I'm out here. I don't got no resource. I don't know anybody. So I'm trying to make some contacts out here, man. So chill out, man. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I barely come up out of the parole office without getting violated. I come back out. She's waiting down the street. So we book back to her pad. Now, the next day, and I'm just going to include this. So she ends up introducing me to a cat named Bobby. Good ass dude. I got nothing but a lot of respect and love for Bobby. They used to call him Barbecue Bob. Wait, Bobby's the kind of dude that, he's a homie. He's been around, but, he'd hooked up with at that time with his wife, Monica. They had a daughter, and, he stopped kind of like, he's just stopped fucking around. He was there for the homies. He was always, it was always somebody that we could always go to his pad, and he had a big backyard, and we used to throw our gatherings back there. And he was just a good motherfucker, man. Just a solid dude. Straight cowboy fan. When I really got to know him, when I was out there, he was my driving partner every day. He would come after work. He would come pick me up, and we go back to his pad, and we get our fucking drive on in his garage. and then his wife would always cook us dinner. They showed me a lot of love, man. They were some good ass fucking people. I took a lot of I took a liking to Bobby. I mean, he was just a good dude. He was always there for me, and you know, he ended up being like family. So anyway, I'm tell you about this one incident that happened with him though. So you know, after I got to know him, I went to his pad one day, and when I was over there, he had a niece that was over there. And apparently she was going at it with her old man. She was crying. She was upset because this dude locked up on, they had a baby, and this dude wouldn't give none of her baby clothes back. He had all the clothes. He was holding them hostage. He was acting like a bitch. And you reached out to me one time already, and it was nothing but respect. So I'm gonna take that back. If you are watching this video and you reach out, I don't mean no disrespect, bro, because when I first talked about this story way back when I had Loaded News Media, you reached out and you ended up coming on the channel telling me that I was the cat that incident happened, the incident that I'm about to tell these guys. So anyway, they were going at it, and you know, his niece was over there crying, and Bobby got all pissed off and was like, you know what, fuck this motherfucker. He was like, let's go over there right now and we'll get your clothes back. And I'm like, hey Bobby, I'm gonna roll with you, man. You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, it's all good. He was like, but I got this. And I'm like, nah, I got this, bro. Don't trip. You don't need to get yourself in no trouble, man. You know, so I'm gonna say this, man. You know, his niece she was talking a lot of shit about this dude. She made it sound like she was done with him. She was still her baby's dad, but she was like talking about him like, hey, he fucking won't give me none of the baby's clothes back. He's acting fucked up. He's got all her her bottles and a lot of shit that I need. And I'm like, yeah, it's all good. You know, make sure we get your shit back. And I'm just trying to look out for the homie. I don't know her. All I know is she's family of his. So anyway, we drive to this dude's work. We drive to his work and we pull up in the parking lot, and Bobby's pissed off. He's like, fuck this motherfucker. And I don't remember if he put his hands on her or not. If he did, it wasn't nothing crazy. Like he didn't slap her, nothing like that. It's like he just grabbed her, some shit. I vaguely remember. But anyway, so when we get to this guy's work, she calls him on the phone and she's like, hey, I'm here with my fucking uncle, and you need to come out and give me the fucking baby's clothes. I forget her daughter's name, but she's like, you need to come out here and give me such and such as clothes. My uncle wants to talk to you. And this dude, he ends up coming out. So my whole thing is like, I'm just gonna stand back in the shadows. I'm gonna kind of just play along with Bobby. Whatever Bobby wants to do, that's what I'm gonna do. He wants to fucking smash this dude, I'm gonna smash him with him. If he wants to just, let this dude slide and he wants to just give him a good tongue lash, whatever. I'm just waiting to see how Bobby wants to play his hand. So I'm standing there. This dude comes out and he's not disrespectful. He's not talking crazy. He sees me and Bobby and he's like, I think he was acting completely different with her. He was like, they were kind of going at it, him and his girl, but he was like, you didn't have to act like that. And she was like, you know what, motherfucker, fuck you. Just give me the fucking baby's clothes. And so he pulls out his keys and Bobby tells him, I remember Bobby telling him something. He's like, let me tell you something, motherfucker. He's like, this is my fucking niece right here. And, if you put your hands on my fucking niece, or if you pull some shit like this again, where I got to come all the way down here to get something that belongs to, I don't know, he mentioned like the baby was like his goddaughter or some shit. I don't remember, but he was like, the next time I come down here, man, something, I'm not going to come down here to talk to you. It's not going to be a friendly conversation, man. I'm telling you right now. And I don't remember what the dude said. He said something and he ends up popping the trunk open and we started getting the baby. We started throwing everything in the back of Bobby's trunk. And then the dude shut his trunk and he said something crazy. I don't remember what it was, but I was standing to the side, right, like right up on the dude, and I'm just watching him. And Bobby told him something, and he barked something back. And when he said what he said, whatever he said, I hit him with the motherfucking. It wasn't no Smoking Joe Frazier, right? This was a George Foreman bomb bizzle. I hit him with the motherfucking George Foreman right cross and put him straight to sleep. I'm talking about not. I didn't just drop him and he was dizzy and he was still moving. This boy was sleeping. I'm talking about sleepy go night night, snoring sleep out, man. I hit this motherfucker so hard. I don't know if this motherfucker's dead. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I know one thing: we need to get the fuck out of Dodge. But here's the thing, man. So I went from the hero of the day. So I knocked this dude out, knock him out, and I did that for her and for my boy because I held Bobby in high regards, and I didn't know his niece. But because I had that respect for Bobby, I did that for her. But the funniest thing happened when we get back in the car and we're driving away. And this happens a lot with couples, man. I've been in other similar situations where the same shit happens. She's now she's mad at me. She's mad at me for knocking this dude out because it wasn't necessary. It didn't need to be taken there. Like, that's still my baby's dad. It was like, I didn't come over here to see him get hurt. I'm like, wow. I would have never put my hands on the dude had I known all that, like she was gonna trip like that. But Bobby on the other hand was like, he couldn't wait till we got back to Sophie's pad because Mateo's dad was there now, Silver Fox. I think he passed away. Rest in peace, Silver Fox. And there was a couple other people over there, and he was telling the stories like, man, we went over there and homie fucking Box, man, he just, I was about to get off on this fool, but Box beat me to it. He fucking hit this dude one time, and this dude was fucking out. I'm talking about fucking sleep. So when I hit this dude and put him to sleep, his boss came running out. And he was like, get the fuck off my property. I'm calling the cops. You know what I'm saying? And I honestly thought I was going to get in trouble at that point, too, because, we got Bobby's license plate. But it was what it was, man. When we're driving away, though, thank God this motherfucker started moving. He got up and he apparently had told his boss, nah, don't call the cops. That's going to end up getting me in some worse shit. So let me just say this before I go on. I told this story on Loaded News Media a couple years ago, and the cat that I hit came on the channel in the comments and was like, bro, that was me. He was like, I know it's not personal. He was like, that's me that did that. And I mean, that's me that you socked. And he was like, bro, he went from telling me that to explaining the whole situation that happened between him and the female. And it was like, bro, she was wrong. She did a bunch of foul shit and was like, man, I was made to look like the bad guy, but really, there's a lot of shit you don't know about. But so, homie tapped in and I touched base with him the first time he tapped in. And like I said, shouts out to you, bro. I meant no disrespect, but I said earlier, it was just I was in storytelling mode, man. So you know what it is, man. Anyway, so that's what happened that night. There's a couple more things a couple more parts of this story. This is why I backed up so I could tell you guys all this other shit, because really what I really want to tell you guys about happened just in the county. But anyway, this is all leading up to it. So that happened that night. Now the next day, I'm not out that long out there in Salinas. Wasn't that long. It was 3 weeks to a month tops. So I told you guys I went to Gabe got a jail's house and I had the homie fill the back of my head in, fill all the letters in. So it was Fucking, it was an eye buster, dark as fuck. It had grease on it. Anyway, so we're driving. I'm with her in the car, and we're out there by fucking that college out there, that college in Salinas. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so there's a cop at the light. He's making a turn. She's turning as well, but she turns like way too soon, and she almost sideswipes this motherfucker. And I know as soon as she did it, like, this dude's gonna pull us over. It was like we made eye contact, and the motherfucker bust a bitch, came up behind us, lit us up, and he comes up, asks her why she fucking damn near ran him off the road, and then he turned his attention to me. Hey, you on parole? Yep. What's your name? Give him my name. So he tells me step out the car. He searches the car, does all that shit. So I bullshit you not. I'm there for about 10 minutes. I'm standing there. And all of a sudden, somebody comes up behind me and taps me on the shoulder. And I turn around, it's my fucking parole officer. And he's like, hey, so we got a problem. And I'm like, what's the problem? And he's like, turn around, and I'm going to tell you what the problem is right now. I need to put you in cuffs. I'm like, oh, man, for real? So he cuffs me up, and he tells me, so there's two problems. Actually, there's two. And I'm like, okay, what are the two problems? Well, the first problem is that you're in the car with Sophie Rocha, who I've known since she was a little girl. Now, you just paroled out here, and you've only been out here you haven't been out here that long. And out of everybody in Salinas that you could run into or that you could meet out here, it just so happens to be Sophie Rocha, the brother of Mateo, a known NF member, active NF member. He's like, don't even try to tell me that's coincidence. He's like, so that's problem number one. And I'm like, so what? It's a crime to be in the car with her, a female. What are you trying to say? She's an active gang member now? He's like, well, no, but there's the association factor. So you know what it is. He was like, come on, you can play games with me if you want, but that's Mateo's little sister. And I've been knowing Sophie since she was a little girl. So I know what's going on here. And I'm like, okay, whatever, man. So he's like, the second problem is the ink on the back of your head is fresh. He was like, and that's gang activity. And I'm like, man, that tattoo has been there. He was like, it doesn't matter. He's like, you had it filled in. You had it touched up or filled in. So he's like, I'm not sure. I gotta look at the pictures, but the ink is fresh. So I don't know what you did. You either touched it up or filled it in. I can't remember right now, but that's gang activity. I said, man, I've already did a parole violation for this tattoo when I first got it, because I had the outline. And he was like, well, now you're going to do a parole violation for getting it filled in too. So the motherfucker hit me with both violations. One, being in the car with the known family member of an NF member. Two, gang activity or gang association for getting the tattoo touched up on the back of my head. I couldn't fucking believe it, man. I was fucking livid. Like, for real, you guys are those are two petty fucking violations, man. But it is what it is. So I hit the county jail. They're treating me like I'm an alien or something. I'm not from Salinas. I'm from San Francisco. The thing is there's a lot of shit going on at that time. There was a lot of internal NF politics that were happening. Again, you had the whole Cap Saloon incident, and a lot of the players were in the county jail at that time. You had Rico and Lobo. You had those two different factions. You had the Rico and Lobo faction against the Copas faction. So that was going on. You had Black Widow was still kind of in the works. So there was all these things happening. And, these gang intel officers over there in Monterey County were like, oh, hell no. We're not putting you back there with everybody else. We don't know who you are. We don't like your artwork, meaning the tattoo on the back of my head. And there's just too much shit going on right now. We don't know where you fall in at. So we're going to put you in an observation cell. You're only going to be here for like 2 days tops. I'm going to make sure you get put on the first thing smoking up out of here. We don't even want you here. And they did. I was up out of there quick. But so while I'm still in booking, before they even put me in the observation cell, I don't know who's who over there. I don't know what color represents what inmate, but it was early as fuck in the morning, and I'm still in booking, and they're starting to run court. They're doing court movement, and they let me use the phone. So these guys put me in. There's like 3 phones on a wall. For those of you that have been to Monterey County Jail, you guys should know what I'm talking about. It's out there in the booking area. They cuffed me to the wall. One of my hands is cuffed. One of my hands was cuffed. And the other hand, they obviously left uncuffed so that I could dial the phone. So I'm on the phone, and there's movement everywhere. Inmates walking around, going to court, people going here, moving to different tanks. So I'm out there in the intake area. And I want to say they were in green. I can't remember. But anyway, they were Southsiders. Whatever color Southsiders wear over there, that's what they were wearing. And I was on the phone. There was a lot of movement, so I was watching my surroundings. But when they brought these cats around the corner, I knew something was up with these cats. They fucking zoomed in on me as soon as they see me, and I locked in on them as soon as I seen them. I knew that these guys were probably Southsiders. So I'm on the phone, and I'm telling my lady at that time too, like, hey, there's some Southsiders that are coming this way right now, and if something happens, I'm probably gonna end up getting into it right now while I'm on the phone. I told her that. So I turn around and I face these cats, and I'm just there on the phone, and all of a sudden, when these motherfuckers get close enough, they fucking bum rush me. I'm on the phone. I only got one hand, but, that's kind of all I needed, and luckily it was my right hand. So all of a sudden, these motherfuckers rushed me. They were 2 of them were handcuffed to each other. Like, they had one hand loose and one hand handcuffed to each other. And the third one was just handcuffed in front of, he had his hands in front of him. And so, these guys are fucking throwing, both of them are throwing one-handers, and I'm throwing one hand back. I'm on the phone, and it happened quick, man. It happened real quick. The CO that was escorting these dudes ended up yanking them and throwing them on the floor, but it happened. It happened like that, and as soon as it happened, one of the other COs grabbed me, took me off the phone, put me in a fucking holding tank, and I ended up getting rushed. The first day I got to the Monterey County Jail, that's how I got welcomed over there. I ended up getting rushed early as fuck in the morning. It was weak as fuck though. It was weak, man. There was only 2 of them that could even try to do something. The third one, he couldn't do nothing. But there was something that happened. And I only stayed in that county jail for 2 days. They put me on a bus fast. And matter of fact, while I was in the holding tank, I ended up running into Mondo Frias's dad, Big Mondo. And I would end up going from Monterey County Jail. They sent me to Santa Rita. First time I ever hit Santa Rita. They sent me to Santa Rita, and I had a fucking eventful time over there too. As soon as I got there, gang intel over there were tripping on me over there, but there was one cat, he was cool. He was like, hey, look, I tell you what, let me take a picture of the back of your head so I could throw it up on my wall, because he had a bunch of gang members, gang pictures up there. He's like, if you let me get a picture, I'm going to let you go out to the main line. He was like, I don't know you. He goes, everything tells me I should slam you down because I don't know you, but I see you haven't been to this jail before. You got no history here. And you know, you're just a parole violator. I was like, man, I'm not gonna cause no problems here. Yeah, let me go to the main line, man. You know what I mean? Let me go out, let me get up out of the cell. I stay locked down, but he's like, I'm gonna let you, man. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you getting any shit, we're gonna lock you down. Cool, deal. So anyway, I ended up staying there in Santa Rita for a couple months. It was kind of cool. That was another adventure. Say that Santa Rita was an adventure. But this is, I know this one right here was all over the place. There's a lot of different parts to it, but it happened. It happened in Salinas, in the county jail. There was a lot of shit going on at that time. Just to give you guys a cap of what ended up happening. Sophie ended up taking 18 years. She did her time and she got out. Which is very uncommon for females to take that kind of time. I remember she signed all her kids over to her mother, her custody rights to her mom. She hunkered down, took that 18 like a savage and went and did it. Everybody thought she was going to flip, but she held her mud and she went and did the 18 and she's out now. But a lot has happened since then. A lot's happened with a lot of the people that I've mentioned: Smokey, Baki, Bubba, Wino, Bobby, Silver Fox. A lot of life has taken a lot of these people in different directions. And for the most part, most of it has been all bad. Anyway, that's episode 30 of War Stories. It's just a quick one to get something out to you guys. I know I need to get more content out, but like I said, man, sometimes there's things outside of YouTube that distract us. Sometimes those of us that are content creators, we do have lives too. So I'm gonna try to work on some more bangers for you guys. I have some more that I want to talk about. I just want to make sure that I put them in the right context. It's like I've said before, I'm not worried about time constraints. I'm not worried about, talking about some of this stuff because a lot of time has elapsed since it happened. However, if it's not necessary, it's not necessary. So I'm playing it safe. I'm still talking about some of the criminal activities that I was involved in that I didn't get prosecuted for. So there's certain things I just want to make sure that when I talk about it and I put it in the context, I'm not putting my foot in my mouth, if that makes sense. Anyway, this is episode 30, man. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to get this over to Sandman, see if I can get it edited tonight. With that said, man, this is your boy B. This is War Stories, episode 30. I'm out.